if you considered your beautiful body to be a Ferrari, you know your beautiful body, that's a Ferrari, a really supercharged, gorgeous, high energy vehicle, would you really put inferior fuel inside it? Of course not.
Well, welcome to another exciting edition of Love Not Fear. I'm Jack Cox, author of Love Not Fear, and I'm with my gorgeous co-host Annie Day, who's written two scrumptious books.
Orgasmic Health and Your Guide to Feeling Fabulous Fast.
And my good friend Barnabas England, who's written two brilliant little books.
We've got this out today. This is actually not, can you see that grey line across the front of this? This is the second edition of that's just a proof copy. But this ain't a proof copy. This is the original. The Reflections of the Now. Yay! 81 poems celebrating the 81 verses of the Tao Te Ching.
Wonderful.
All ready and available at Amazon. Links below.
Links below. Yep.
Okay, so Jack and I thought that we'd talk about water, not least that our beautiful bodies are made out of 80% water. So it's very important that we are replacing water lost through respiration, urination, digestion, and perspiration with good quality water. A visual reminder is if you considered your beautiful body to be a Ferrari, you know your beautiful body, that's a Ferrari, a really supercharged, gorgeous, high energy vehicle, would you really put inferior fuel inside it? Of course not. We know that if we put inferior fuel into our Ferrari, it would be unable to give optimum energy, and this would have a negative effect on its performance and longevity. So tap water contains chlorine, fluoride, pesticide, insecticides, heavy metals, herbicides, female hormones, and everyone else's medication. You see, this came as a really big shock to me in 1998 when I became very poorly with low energy symptoms. A naturopathic doctor advised me to stop drinking tap water as it was having such a negative impact on me. I did some research and discovered that every time somebody urinates, it goes into the toilet and then is transported into the water treatment plant. There it is filtered and both chlorine and fluoride are added to the water before it is recycled back to us as tap water. Naively, I thought that the reason that the chlorine was being added was to eradicate some of the bacteria present in the water. You can imagine my surprise when I spoke to a man that had worked in the local water treatment plant for many years. He told me that the only reason it is added is to protect the pipes the water travels along, as copper pipes were taken out many years ago. If there is a spillage at the water treatment plant of chlorine, it will immediately start devouring soft tissues of anyone within the vicinity. We are still having this put into our water, and it is still having an enormously negative impact on us. There are so many issues with fluoride too. Most certainly where it occurs naturally with other trace elements, it is good for dental health. However, the variety that we are ingesting is man-made and has a negative impact as it is both a neurotoxin as well as being carcinogenic, disclosed by the Lancet. And again, I'll send Jack in this so we'll have that link to the research in the medical journal. As fluoride is not a medicine, individual levels fluctuate enormously. The fact that it is added to our water without our permission means that we are all being exposed to it, irrespective of how many other sources of fluoride we're being exposed to in our diets, toothpaste, and other sources. I have campaigned for many years for it to be taken out of our water system. It has been well known for many years that fluoride is not only a neurotoxin, it is also carcinogenic. Unsurprisingly, Big Pharma makes far too much money from it, so many UK residents are subjected to fluoridation. There are many countries of the world, including China, that have already banned fluoride use as it is too problematic for their citizens. Having done research for my personal and professional benefit, not least because I have a low tolerance to tap water, for the last 8 years, I've been drinking Kangen water, which is provided through a Japanese medical device water filtration system. Basically, it's a machine that filters and removes all the toxins and medications from tap water. This machine also alkalizes the water, with one of the benefits being that the molecules become smaller, so that our bodies at a cellular level are better hydrated. It is quite simply antioxidant alkaline water available in your own home that can be potentially good and enhance your health, wealth, and prosperity. Again, I'll include the links to the benefits of alkaline water. This water will help boost your immunity system, improve your circulation, maximize your digestive processes, detoxifying your whole system, reverse the signs of aging, is super energizing and alkalizes the body. There are numerous YouTube videos that show the benefits of drinking alkalized water. We've known for many years the benefits of eating alkaline food. There is current research that suggests that cancer cannot survive in an alkaline system, or many other conditions, including chronic fatigue syndrome, arthritis, and autoimmune disease. Having looked at the quality of the water, there are other factors that determine how much benefit we can get from our water. For instance, by drinking warm, room temperature water, our bodies and digestive systems can more easily assimilate warm water as it is already at body temperature. This is one I made earlier. I've always wanted to say that. This is one I've made earlier. By drinking cold water, especially refrigerated water, can mean that it takes up to 2 hours for your body to get it to the right temperature for usage. I am infamous for turning up at social events with my flask of warm Kangen water with half hot, half cold water in it so that I can remain healthy throughout the day. Sometimes the timing of drinking water is critical too. For instance, by drinking water half an hour before eating food, we can enhance how effectively our bodies are able to assimilate and digest the food we have eaten. If you drink water or any other drink with your meal, you're slowing down your digestive system. You're literally watering down those digestive juices. So have a drink of water or drink of whatever half an hour before you eat, and then have some once your body's had an opportunity to digest the food. So bathing and showering. Water has an enormous impact on us through drinking and cooking with it. There is also an issue with bathing and showering in tap water too. Anything that we place on our skin, from skin creams, essential oils, shampoo and water, will take less than 4 minutes before it is absorbed by our major organs, especially the liver. There are healthy options available, namely the Aquatiair bath dechlorinator and Biosera shower filter, which are the equivalent of bathing in mineral water, which has no chlorine in. Woo woo. The Healthy House, which is www.healthy-house.co.uk, also sell effective dechlorinators for the shower and bath that are an economical solution, especially for sufferers of eczema and those who are sensitive to chlorine and fluoride, particularly children. Another positive strategy when using water is to talk positive to it. Thanks to the work of Masaru Emoto, who basically freezes water that has been spoken to kindly. And then before it can defrost completely, he takes photos of it. This water produces the most beautiful snowflake-like patterns. He did likewise with water that had been told it was ugly and bad. And these patterns, when photographed, produce deformed patterns. I fully recommend The Hidden Messages in Water, which introduces the revolutionary work of the internationally renowned Japanese scientist Masaru Emoto. He discovered that molecules in water are affected by our thoughts, words, and feelings. Since humans and the earth are composed mostly of water, his message is one of personal health, global environmental renewal, and a practical plan for peace that starts with each of us. So I'm just going to show you these. So I've got the Masaru Emoto's water crystal cards. So they can be used as we could use any guidance cards, but you can also use them as an energy toning movement and put them on particular chakras. So thoroughly recommend those. And then his New York Times bestseller, The Hidden Messages in Water, just the most incredible images. So that's Masaru Emoto, The Hidden Messages in Water. So how much water should you drink before bed? This varies and depends very much on how much water you've drunk during the day. It is also dependent on whether you've been drinking stimulants such as tea or coffee during the day. These have a tendency to dehydrate the body and work as a diuretic. A good strategy is to stop drinking tea or coffee by 3 p.m. so that you are only drinking good quality water for the rest of the evening, thus hydrating the body and promoting restful sleep. If you do take a drink to bed, especially water, and you do not drink all of it before sleep, put a cover over it, such as a coaster, so that it is not filling up during the night with debris and negativity that is released from you during sleep. So I don't usually put my book over it, but you've got the gist of it. You've got the gist of it. The strategy I recommend is to get a glass bottle, as plastic bottles are contentious if exposed to sunlight. Basically, what happens with the plastic bottles is that it tries to go back to its original format, which clearly was a flat piece of plastic. So what happens is the cells migrate, the phytoestrogens migrate into your water bottle. If you're going to leave water in your car, use a glass bottle. I've got recycled Fever Tree bottles, carrot juice bottles, anything that comes in a glass bottle. Make sure that that's the only thing that is exposed to sunlight, because there's nothing going to happen to the glass, basically. By using a glass bottle that is at least 1.5 litres, you have an accurate measurement of how much good quality water you are drinking daily, especially whilst you are at work. So I've had lots of people in the past who've said, I can't remember whether I've had 2 glasses or 4 glasses or 8 glasses or what I've had during the day. So I've given them what was James White's organic carrot juice bottles that have been washed out, give them that, and then they know then that they've drunk at least a litre of water, because it is difficult otherwise to know how much you've drunk. By using a bottle, you have a standard, that you have a measurement, so you can add more and know that you need to drink more in the evening. Here are some of the conditions that have been shown through research to benefit from a balanced increase of water. Angina, which is caused by a water shortage in the heart and lung axis. Arthritis, dehydration in the joint cavities. Asthma, drought management programs in the body. Autoimmune diseases, drought management programs in the body. Back pain caused by water shortages in the spinal column and discs. Colitis, water shortages in the large gut. Diabetes, some cells are only getting survival rations of water. Heartburn caused by water shortages in the upper gastrointestinal tract. High blood pressure, or even pressure. I don't know where pressure came from. High blood pressure caused by lack of water to fill blood vessels that diffuse water into vital cells. High blood cholesterol, early drought management by the body. Migraines, water shortage in the brain and the eyes. Pain, the body is unable to release the pain from muscular aches and pain. So it's well worth upping how much good quality water you're drinking. So some easy tips for drinking more water are: start your day with a glass of warm water. When you feel thirsty, drink water first. When you are hungry, drink water first. And if you still feel hungry, a short time later, eat some sensible food. Every time you have a stimulant such as tea, coffee, or alcohol, follow it with a glass of good quality water, preferably warm. Experiment with drinking warm water instead of tea and coffee. This link gives you further information on the benefits of drinking water, which again, I'll send this over to Jack. Reasons why you should drink more water. In the heart of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, the water element is a cornerstone shaping our health, emotions, and spiritual well-being. This ancient wisdom, deeply rooted in the 5 elements of nature, offers a unique perspective on balance and harmony within the human body and the world around us. The water element in particular holds a special place in TCM, symbolizing flexibility, adaptability, and the inherent potential for healing and growth. The water element is a foundational aspect of TCM, symbolizing adaptability, renewal, and deep wisdom. Embracing the water element's qualities plays an important role in enhancing our physical health, emotional resilience, and spiritual growth. Incorporating water element principles into our daily life and seasonal practices promotes harmony and overall well-being. Understanding the water element's influence on personality and behaviour can deepen self-awareness and interpersonal relationships. In traditional Chinese medicine, the water element symbolises adaptability, depth, and renewal. And you know, we talk about there are so many descriptive words about going with the flow, for instance. So we know that water is all about flow. It's all about finding that level balance. So I usually add half a teaspoonful of Celtic salt to my first glass of warm water with my lemon in, because what that does is encourages your cells to pick up all the nutrients in the Celtic salt. but it also makes you a bit more thirsty, so you're more likely to drink more water. So it's well worth getting your warm water with a slice of lemon to alkalize it, which always sounds counterintuitive because it's got citric acid in, but that is the truth. Lemon alkalizes water. And then if you add half a teaspoonful of Celtic salt, you'll be also encouraging your body to really hydrate at a deep level. One of the other things that lemon warm water does first thing in the morning, it cleanses the whole of our digestive system, but particularly our liver. So if we've been having a turbulent night's sleep or we've been having nightmares, our liver will have been trying to minimize the fear that we're experiencing. So just by drinking your lemon water with half a teaspoonful of salt, you can cleanse your liver as well. So what is the chemical formula for salt water? So salt water is still H2O that contains dissolved salt NaCl. The salt molecules get pulled apart into separate sodium and chlorine ions, which water attaches to. Oceans contain an average of 3.5% salt to 4.8% salt. So places like the Dead Sea and the Red Sea have clearly got a lot more salt in it than that. Interestingly, our oceans, tears, blood, and the amniotic fluid in which we grew are all exactly the same chemical composition. Our maker made no mistakes with that, did it? So sea level is the base level for measuring elevation and depth on Earth. Because the ocean is one continuous body of water, its surface seeks the same level throughout the world. Isn't water amazing? So what I want to do now is I want to read you a lovely story about starfish. One night, a man was walking on a beach. He saw thousands of starfish washed ashore. A little boy was picking them up one at a time and throwing them back into the ocean. The man walked up to him and asked him, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And why does it matter?" And as the little boy picked up the next starfish and held it up to the moonlight, he got ready to throw it back into the ocean. He replied, "It matters to this one." And that's by a lovely lady called Lauren Isley. So that's it, lovely Jack. That's what I've got tonight.
Right, thank you very much for that, Annie.
My pleasure, darling. My pleasure.
Right, so Annie's covered that subject very, very thoroughly. So most of my notes have now become obsolete.
Oh, it's good.
Well done, Annie.
Well
done, Annie. Well done, Annie. So let's talk so let's just talk a little bit more about tap water, shall we?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, in different parts of the world. I mean, wherever you look, it's not just here in England. Wherever you look, the tap water's pretty crap.
Yeah.
It contains things that are bad for the biology of our cells. But the good news is that there are things we can do about it, fairly inexpensive things that we can do to take some of the muck out. Like it or not, most of the water we drink contains endocrine disruptors. You've mentioned that, haven't you, Annie?
Yeah.
That can
Female
negatively
hormones aren't good for boys, are they?
It can negatively affect our reproductive health in both males and females.
Absolutely, darling.
Water quality depends largely on the concentration of minerals, especially magnesium and calcium.
Yeah.
What we call hard water is just water that contains a lot of magnesium and calcium.
Absolutely.
And that's a good thing because it raises the pH.
Yeah.
The higher the concentrations of magnesium and calcium, the higher the pH, the more alkaline the water is. And as Annie just said, that's so much better for our health.
Yeah, it is.
At lower levels of magnesium and calcium, the more acidic the water is, which ain't so good for our health. But there are a couple of other important factors. Disinfection byproducts, DBPs, and as Annie's already mentioned, fluoride. Obviously, water companies want our drinking water to be clean. That's what they get paid for.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. They don't want the contaminants, allegedly. They don't want sewage in the water, allegedly. And they don't want chemical contaminants that are going to make people sick, allegedly. Evidence of our eyes is probably contrary to that, but anyway. So they treat the water with disinfection products. And those disinfection products create disinfection byproducts, DBPs, which are formed when the disinfectants like chlorine interact with natural organic materials in the water.
Yeah.
And the presence of these DBPs can strongly affect the pH of the water as well, because they change the concentration of the magnesium and the calcium. They react.
Yeah.
So it's very clear that DBPs can cause endocrine disruption in ways that ain't no good for our reproductive health.
Absolutely, darling.
So yeah, DBPs have been shown to disrupt ovarian function and spermatogenesis and fertility outcomes.
Yeah, what it does is it causes poor sperm motility, which means it weakens the tail of the sperm, which buggers up their directional sense. So instead of them swimming towards the ovum, they swim the opposite direction.
Right.
It's not good for the continuation of the species, clearly.
Not good at all, no.
Mm.
So the other big one, I'm not going to go into it very much because Annie's already covered it, is fluoride. There's plenty of studies that show that concentration of fluoride in drinking water is a particular concern for thyroid and the pineal glands.
Yeah.
And we mentioned this in other shows, so I'm not going to go into it now.
It calcifies the pineal gland.
Yeah, it's a good idea to find out the fluoride concentrations in your water, and water companies should tell you. They should tell you if you ask. There's also a few websites where you can put in your postcode and find out.
But if you've got any sense at all, drink either good quality water from Glastonbury or from Derbyshire, you know, anywhere where there's good quality water, or get yourself a decent filter jug.
Well, I am so lucky that I'm living just half an hour's walk from the Chalice Well. I can get water for the Chalice Well any time.
I know.
I'm so lucky.
You are lucky.
And you don't even have to pay to go in because you can collect it from outside the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way it comes out the wall, you can collect it there.
Yeah.
So I'm ever such a lucky bugger.
You are. You are indeed.
So most of our tap water has been recycled up to 5 times. Just think about that. The water you drink today has been pissed against the wall 5 times by 5 different people.
Yeah.
It's horrid, isn't it? It's disgusting.
Yeah.
How can anybody think that's a decent way to live? Many people are getting very worried about this. They don't want to be drinking other people's piss, even if it has been treated. So apart from fluoride and DBPs, we're also taking other people's medications, which Annie's already mentioned. And of course, agricultural runoff, which includes glyphosate.
Yeah.
It's a miracle we're still walking around, really, isn't it?
Well, I think it was a blessing that I was so poorly in 1998. And that was when I discovered that I've got an acute allergy to tap water. So
Yeah.
for me, since 1998, I've only drunk good quality water. The only time I'm exposed to tap water is if I go out, say for a meal or something, and have a cup of tea or whatever.
Yeah. These days, most people are aware of how filthy our tap water is, and most people now are filtering their drinking water. And if you're not, then start.
Absolutely.
So, how should you filter your drinking water? I mean, there are loads and loads of different options. Annie's mentioned a few.
Yeah.
The simplest of the lot is probably the basic jug filter that you get from the supermarket, with carbon filters in, which you can replace the carbon filters.
Yeah.
They're not very good, not that good, but they work to a certain extent.
Yeah.
They take out most of the disinfectant byproducts.
Yeah.
But they're not that good at taking out the fluoride.
No, they don't take fluoride out unless you buy a jug that specifically says that it does take out fluoride and chlorine.
Yeah, and there are some that do, and we'll put a link to some of them down in the show notes. So there's a few inexpensive systems that do, or you can spend thousands of pounds on whole house under sink systems and great big massive systems that go in the garage or in the utility room. Obviously, as Danny said, if you use a whole house system, then it means your shower water, your bath water has also been filtered.
Yeah. But if you can't afford that, because it is a big amount of money, and particularly if you're living in rented property, you may not be able to do it. So I'd recommend buy a Sarah for the shower head that takes out all the chlorine and changes it to chlorate. And the bath dechlorinator is like a little blue bar, basically. You put it under the hot and cold tap and it changes chlorine and fluoride, takes that out. So there are inexpensive ways of doing it as well, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, this place, this is a rented place, it's got a filter shower head.
Oh, there you go. Already done.
I'm a very, very lucky bunny rabbit.
You are a very lucky bunny rabbit.
Yeah. Bomb. Yeah, there's also reverse osmosis systems if you want to go in for those, or water ionizers.
The only problem with that, Jack, I had a whole house system when I lived in Penkridge, reverse osmosis, and it's actually dead water. So you have to have a filter attached to the inlet pipe that adds minerals, like you've said, calcium and magnesium. It takes everything out. So you've got dead water, which is clean. I'll grant you it's clean. And it's great to bath in as well because it doesn't make your skin dry. But the only thing is you need to remember to make sure that you've got that adaptation where it is putting minerals back in.
Water. Well, I liked it when you said that the human body is 80% water, because I thought, that's it. I'm not too fat. I'm just too wet. And the other thought was, why do we call it the Earth? Because 2/3 of the surface of the Earth is water. Shouldn't it be called water?
Yeah, we should call it water. Planet water.
I'm just
Yes,
being
let's do
silly.
that.
I'm just being silly, but
Okay.
we call it the Earth. And I was watching some TV show, and there was somebody. It was nothing to do with the storyline, but somebody, one of the characters, was watching this program on the TV, saying that we were running out of water. I thought, well, it's 2/3. If you're going to run out of anything, it's going to be land, not water.
Now, what we didn't mention an awful lot during the show was about structured water.
Yeah.
And how that water that comes from natural sources, from a river,
Yeah.
or even just falling through the sky,
Yeah.
is structured water. It goes through, it picks up a vortex, and it becomes structured water. And when we pump it down our pipes, it loses its structure.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
there
only
are
problem, Jack, with rainwater is I've got a rainwater book. Is because we're getting chemtrails all the time and acid rain. I'm not sure. It's you know, I water my plants with it, but I'm not sure that I want to drink that, to be honest.
no.
But certainly my plants love it.
But there are
Is there
systems
no
that you
such
can
thing
use
as
in conjunction with water filter systems to put the vortex
desalination?
back in. Right. Well, thank you all for coming again for another exciting week of our show. Thank you, Annie,
I
for
know
all
you
the
never cease to
wonderful
amaze me with
information.
all the different subject matters you keep coming up with. I think you must have covered everything now, and then you come up with water. Well, that's obvious, isn't it? Why didn't we have one about water? It's one of the things that we have in our lives every day, whoever we are.
Yeah.
So it was just strange that you'd hit on a subject matter that was so huge and so pertinent, and there it was, not being covered before, as far as I'm aware, by the show. You not covered it before.
No, but
Oh,
both of my books have got a whole chapter, very lengthy chapters on
ah.
the importance of water. So I basically plagiarised myself. How good's that?
Right, so if you want to find out any more, you read Annie's books. They're absolutely brilliant.
Thank you very much,
Correct.
Jack,
Yeah.
and yours is, and Barnabas is.
So until next week, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps us get out to more people.
It does.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.